here yesterday?
Yeah.
Oh, boys. But anyone here read Extreme X-Men? Well, we shall get copies. The reason I ask is that there's a town in it called Valle Salada in California, which was established years ago as a community where mutants and non-mutants live together. Just to prove it could be done. These were not superheroes. These were not exceptional power mutants. These were people who were born a little differently. One, for example, projected tattoos. She could paint you. Indeed, that was her pet name for herself, paint. What would she do? She would paint you. You would have little bits down here, you could have a full body workup. It would be fascinating. But it would vanish in a half hour. Vanish in 24 hours. Nothing was permanent. She could perhaps make it permanent, but for most people, it was a trial. You would see, do you like it? Is it fun? You could be this way for a party. There was another one who cured cars. If it was sick, you could find a way to make it better, to make it more interesting, to make the engine run as smoothly as you could imagine. None of these were save the world abilities. They would fall in love, not necessarily on themselves. They would get married. By themselves, people like them. They would have kids, they would move on. It was the perfect epitome of a world we would love to see, where everyone comes together. Of course it didn't work. Parents objected, families objected, marriages broke up, everything that afflicts normal people afflicted them. And with the rise of tensions between non-mutants and mutants, it was affected here. It had an effect here as well. But the point of this community was, it started from a presumption we could live together. We could move forward together. There were fascinating elements of both cultures, both branches of the species. It didn't care what your label was, only that person A meets person B. Things happen, they fall for each other, they go on dates. Sometimes it didn't work out, sometimes it did. They got married, they had kids. Normal life. The essence was normal life existed there as it does in, Minneapolis, or Chicago, or even Dallas. Why would it be so hard for it to embrace the whole world? But that's the challenge that's always existed in history. You live on one side of a mountain, you're afraid of the town on the other side of the mountain. Why? Because getting over that mountain, going around that mountain, drilling a tunnel through that mountain is a challenge. The other town is the unknown, and we've always been anxious about the unknown. Why? I don't know, the human condition. There's a lot of research done, published in the National Geographic, about a pride of lions. This is our turf, and we will wander out across our turf, and anything that is appropriate to attack and eat and move on is ours. So who the heck is that lion who's wandering in this end of our turf and impinging on our territory? Wow, that leads to a whole conflict that could have a happy resolution, a peaceful resolution. Actually not likely, but there is a resolution. We're the same way. We all derive our actions are interactions from the same genetic base. How do we deal with that? With lesser predators, it's easy, you kill them. Or they kill you and move on. With us, having larger brains or interactive brains, we try to figure out an alternative. Or we invent sentinels and it doesn't go well. But that's the essence of the mutant struggle. Find a way to reach out or not reach out to the rest of the people around you and live together. Because the alternative is if you build a community that is, as I was saying yesterday, that is totally separate from the people around you. Like, I don't know, an island. If the only interaction you have is, we have come up with great things that will make your lives better. It'll only last for 5 years and then you're on your own, but we have them. So we'll take them from our island to the nearest port city around you, and we'll give it away. That's great, but how do you feel if you're dependent on that stuff and dependent on the fact that it's delivered from that island, and will it always be there? That starts to get squirrely. You get to be afraid of what if the supply of medicine runs out? What if the price goes up? What if the attitude changes? Nobody likes to be on the end of a supply chain when they have no control over the beginning of the supply chain. That way, if you don't find a means of balance, both sides talking to one another, or both sides finding a way to resolve things amicably, the potential exists for trouble.